evening. Welcome to the June 24th, 2025 Millbrae City Council meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. City Clerk, would you please do a roll call?
Councilmember Nguyen.
Here.
Councilmember Riley.
Here.
Councilmember Rinaldi.
Present.
Vice Mayor Holliber.
Present.
Mayor Fung.
Here.
All members City Council are present.
Thank you so much. And for those who are able, please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, and please be seated. And we begin tonight with the ceremonial presentation proclaiming the month of July 2025 as Park and Rec Month. And we have this evening Recreational Director Hannah Moran and the entire recreational staff joining us, along with the coaches and the athletes from the Millbrae AYSO, the Lions Baseball, and the Girls Softball Association. Councilmember Rinaldi.
Parks and recreation are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including Millbrae, California. And Parks and recreation promotes health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks. And Parks and recreation promotes time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being and alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorders. And Parks and recreation encourages physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, dance, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And Parks and recreation is a leading provider of healthy meals, nutrition, services, and education. And Parks and recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development, and the City of Millbrae recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources, and Millbrae Recreation is proud to present opportunities and programs that encourage our community to stay active and social, such as an array of festivals, community movies, and concerts. Our Parks Unit and Recreation Department are committed to continuing to provide top-level service to our community that includes opportunities to interact with nature and stay physically and mentally active. Now, therefore, we, the members of Millbrae City Council, do hereby proclaim July 2025 as Parks and Recreation Month.
Director Moran.
Thank you. All right, so good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council members. We have a few people representing us tonight for Parks and Recreation. So I wanted to start off with just some of our staff that are in the audience. I'm going to start off by bringing Roland and Ryan up to the stage, who are some of our full-time staff who help with our facilities, our special events, our youth sports, and our summer camps. Which is very exciting. And then we also, I wanted to talk a little bit about our part-time staff. So we have two representatives of our part-time staff here today. We have Alan, who works with our seniors, keeping them alive and healthy all year round through his line dancing classes. And so we'll have him come up. And then also we have Trin, who is one of our amazing front desk staff. She's joined tonight by someone who we hope will be a future recreation staff, and that is her son, Zach. And so I'll have them come up as well. And then, of course, we want to thank our Parks Department because, of course, I represent, I'm the Recreation Director, represent the recreation part, but our Parks Department falls under Public Works, and so we work really closely with them, work with them on the Parks and Rec Commission, but of course they were here Public Works night. But I wanted to just mention them because, of course, they do an amazing job maintaining our fields, specifically our Taylor Middle School field, but along with all of our elementary school fields. fields, and that really helps some of our field users. So tonight we have some folks from MGSA and Millbrae Lions Baseball, and I'm not sure if we have anybody from AYSO. I know they were hoping to be here. I don't think so, but I just wanted to go ahead, and if there's any coaches that wanted to say anything, you're welcome to, but if not, we'll just move on to a photo. So, but please come up, and thank you guys so much. We'll join over here for a picture right over there, but thank you guys for coming, and thank you for being some of our sports users.
All right, all of them. Any council member have any comment for our Park and Rec staff and all of our youth?
You want to say something? Yeah.
I'll just say a couple of words and how thankful I am to the entire Park and Rec department and how beneficial that all your work have been to our youth, our children. You know, look at the baseball team we have here and also the soccer team. I know, you know, every year how our children look forward to, you know, all the summer activities and, you know, throughout the entire year, not just the summer as well, and how dedicated all of you are, you know, making sure that the rec center, the library, and charcuterie room, all of that is available to all the events that we run throughout the year. I mean, Millbrae is a city of festival, and it's also a city where everybody can gather and really have a community, you know, engagement together. So, and it's made available by your staff and ensuring that our facility is available to our residents and all of our nonprofit organizations. So thank you so much for being able to make that available to all of us and working hard every day. Council member?
Thanks, Mayor Fung. Just want to say a couple quick words. See, we got some parents out here tonight that dedicate their time to these kids to make sure that they can learn about teamwork and being a good team player. I could tell you, growing up as a kid, it's awesome to see the tradition still going on over here. Some of the best friendships that you make in life are on the field. So thank you all for what you do, and for anyone who wants to see it in action, go to Little League opening day sometime down there at Taylor. Absolutely amazing what you guys put on. If it wasn't for all you, it just wouldn't be happening. So thank you.
All right. Anyone else? You have any words for us? Thank you, Coach.
Hi, my name is Lance Seeley, so I'm president of Millbrae Girls Softball. I just want to express my gratitude to Millbrae Parks and Rec for everything that they do. One of the things that we do every year is that Millbrae Girls Softball hosts annual tournament. That's the weekend after Memorial Weekend. And this year we were one of the largest tournaments in Northern California at 65 teams. And we estimate that we bring roughly 3,500 people into the community to support the local businesses around. So, and Millbrae Parks and Rec is a huge part of that in supporting us with fields, with facilities, and always go out of their way to help us with that tournament. And we get a lot of families and other teams that always comment on how well run the tournament is. Special thanks to you all for everything that you do. So thank you.
Very well. Can you please join us? All right, it's always wonderful to see our children coming together with all the sport activities. All right, moving on to the agenda overview and the staff briefing. and with calendars, events, and also reports on bills and claims. City Manager Tom Williams, would you please?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Tom Williams, City Manager at the City of Millbrae. Coming up a week from Friday is 4th of July, and starting about this time of year, and sometimes throughout the entire year, we hear illegal fireworks. So I'd like to bring up our Bureau Chief, Chief Eamon Allen, to provide a public address to people in the community, because fireworks in Millbrae are illegal, no matter if they're Roman candles, firecrackers, sparklers, safe and sane. Any firework is illegal and they're dangerous, and I'll hand it over to the chief for some further comments to the public.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you, City Manager Williams, and good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council members. Eamon Allen, Bureau Chief for the City of Millbrae. Just like to take a moment as we approach the 4th of July to remind our residents and visitors that in Millbrae, all fireworks are illegal, even the safe and sane variety. And that includes not only the City of Millbrae, but all Sheriff's Office jurisdictions, so unincorporated North County as well. The Sheriff's Office takes a zero tolerance approach to enforcement, and those found possessing or lighting fireworks may face a fine of up to $1,000. But more importantly than that is the danger that the fireworks present, and each year we see some terrible accidents that endanger life and limb. So those are always prevalent this time of year, so that's way more important than any fine. The risk to property is also an issue. Just 2 years ago, we had a Millbrae resident, a private residence in Millbrae that caught fire after a resident improperly disposed of smoldering fireworks. So the danger to property is also high this time of year. Just briefly, once again, a reminder that all fireworks are illegal in Millbrae, and we encourage folks who want to see fireworks that they travel to areas where there are sanctioned firework events. Yeah, so thank you, and please be safe this 4th of July season.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, Mayor, next on 4th of July, City of Millbrae invites the whole community, family, friends to our second annual 4th of July celebration. We'll start at 11:30 on Friday, the 4th of July at Central Park. We'll have two bands, and this is both bands backed by popular demand from last year. Starting at noon is the As Is Band. There's some local musicians from Millbrae that play in that band, and they're very popular, play all over the Bay Area. And then at 2 o'clock is the band Pure Ecstasy, which is soul, Motown, R&B, and jazz. And we also have Councilmember Riley that will kick things off right at noon, singing the national anthem. So we'll have food trucks, live music, games and activities for kids. Recreation Department has a series of arcade games that are out in the field at Central Park. And last year was the first time that we did this, and it was fantastic. We had a big turnout. Hope to have even a bigger turnout this year. So starts at 11:30 on the 4th of July at Central Park and goes through 3:30, and we hope to see everybody out there. CERT will be there with water. We'll have shade structures out in the park, and it's just a good time. So hopefully we'll see quite a few people out at Central Park on the 4th of July. Next, we have our movie night on July 11th at Central Park. This will be outdoors, so the movie starts at sunset, about 8:30. This is always a popular event, our movie night at Central Park. So, you know, if should be nicer weather than our first one, but blankets, chairs, we've got our popcorn machine, and it's always a nice family event. So July 11th, Finding Nemo, 8:30 p.m. Movie should start at Central Park. And then lastly, the Chamber of Commerce is having their first business mixer. This is the first one I think they've had since maybe 2018, early 2019. Tomorrow night, 5 o'clock at Fiddler's Green, Chamber of Commerce mixer for all businesses and community, certainly the City Council, and we have various staff that will attend that coordinates with our local business. So mixer tomorrow night, Chamber of Commerce, Fiddler's Green starts at 5 o'clock. And with that, Mr. Mayor, that is a quick briefing on things that are happening.
Very well.
City.
All right, as we're heating up for the summer, thank you so much. All right, approval of minutes. We have regular meeting minutes of June 10th, 2025, and any council comment on that item? Otherwise, I can Entertain a motion if no public comment on that item.
Motion to move forward.
Okay. We have a motion from Councilmember Nguyen and a second from Councilmember Rinaldi. Your votes, please.
The meeting minutes of June 10th passed by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you. We don't have any oral report from any committees or commission chair this evening. Moving on to public communication. This portion of the agenda is reserved for those who wish to comment on any item not appearing on tonight's agenda. However, speaker must address subject matters within the jurisdictions of the City Council. Every speaker has 3 minutes, and the speaker is to address directly to the council and not an individual council member nor the public. City Clerk, I don't have any speaker slips this evening. Hand raise?
Mayor, there are no speaker slip or hands raised online.
Thank you. So closing public communication this evening. Moving on to consent calendar. Item 5, review and file monthly general fund financial report for the period ending May 31st, 2025. Item 6, adoption of a resolution authorizing the city manager or designee to execute a professional services agreement with EKI Environment Water, Inc. for the Millbrae water distribution system hydraulic modeling and analysis in the amount of $173,400, and authorizing the city manager or designee to execute all contract change orders up to 10% design contingency of $17,340 for a total budget not to exceed $190,740. Item 7, adoption of a resolution authorizing the city manager or designee to execute an agreement with the County of San Mateo to provide Office of Emergency Services Direct Coordinator Services in an amount not to exceed $64,571 for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. Adoption of a resolution approving the updated sewer system management plan. And item 9, adoption of a resolution authorizing the city manager or designee to destroy records damaged by flooding and mold prior to completion of the full record retention period. Anyone wish to pull any items from the consent calendar? Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I'd like to pull item 9, just for a quick question.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Councilmember Rinaldi?
Yes, I received requests from the public earlier today to pull item number 7.
Number 7. Okay. All right. Anyone else? If nothing else, I'll take a motion for 5, 6, and 8. Okay. Any public comment? Your votes, please.
Consent calendar 5, 6, and 8 passed by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you. Item 7, City Manager?
Mr. Mayor, we're here to answer any questions. I received the same request. This came from member of the community, Ann Schneider, to pull the item.
Okay.
Don't know if she is online. It looks like she's not, so.
Does anybody, okay, we have a hand raised. Oh, before we go to the public, Councilmember, you have any questions? All right, so any questions from the council? Nobody? All right, we'll take public comment. Go ahead.
Ann Snyder, please accept the unmute.
Hi, thank you, City Council. Just on this agenda item, if this is agenda item number 7, the County Emergency Services Office scheduled Millbrae to have a drill, a citywide or at least a several neighborhood drill for evacuation. And it was supposed to be in late spring of 2025. I didn't see it on the council agenda. I just wanted to bring it to all of you, the city council, on that to make sure that we are given that drill. And especially for the new city council members, the way it works, and Councilman Rinaldi will learn this being on emergency services, San Francisco Airport tends to do all of its own planning. It does not necessarily share its plans at the city council level. at least. So if we have to evacuate SFO and Millbrae and or Burlingame and San Bruno at the same time, there's a very big likelihood that all evacuations will come through Millbrae Avenue. And that's why I've been pushing for years to have a drill in Millbrae, so that if we have to evacuate our higher hilltops, they're not going to get caught in people evacuating from Burlingame along Rollins Road or anybody along El Camino Real. So it's just, please be aware of that. Please continue to hold the county accountable for that. The drill should have already been scheduled and happened. I know they've changed some of their priorities on there, but this is something we really do need, or we could be at risk for what happened to the people in Paradise. They could not evacuate because Chico down below evacuated. So just an FYI to be aware of it, and I hope in the future that our emergency staff will come to Millbrae and they will organize that drill along with CERT. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you for the comment. It's my understanding that Mr. O'Reilly has some update for us.
Mr. Mayor, while Mr. Riley is coming to the podium, also, I would just like to comment and notify the public, there is information known as Zone Haven that's available for anybody that can access it online, and that provides emergency evacuation routes for not only Millbrae community, but throughout San Mateo County. It's called Zone Haven.
Thank you for the update.
Thank you, City Manager Williams. Mr. Mayor and Vice Mayor, members of the council, we are very aware of that. Recently, I think you were updated by the fire department about our high fire hazard severity zones. In fact, the upper part of Millbrae. The county has been working on our evacuation planning, as mentioned before. And actually, we've gone through a couple of revisions in software that we're using to work in our evacuation planning process that works throughout the county. In fact, I just had a training session last week. It's for emergency managers. And the plan is, and it'll be the fall. And former council member Snyder was correct. The county had planned on doing it, but because of the logistics of putting that planning together and the training, it got pushed back a bit. But it is on the agenda. I didn't mention it on because I think the way we're going to approach it, I think for Millbrae, is to get our CERT program involved in it, because it'd be good outreach for them as well, and we can push information out at the same time to make everyone aware. It's very difficult many times to reach all of our residents, to give them the vital information they need. And evacuation planning, I'm sure you're aware, is very difficult on a large scale. And when we do that, you have to stage it to make sure that we can operate properly during a disaster. It will be coming. It is on the agenda, so. Questions?
No? Any questions from anybody?
Thank
you for the update, Mr. Riley. And if anything else, I don't think we have any other public comments on this item. Otherwise, I'd like to entertain a motion.
So move.
Okay. All right, we'll have a second from the Vice Mayor and also a motion from Councilmember Ronaldo. Your votes, please.
Item number 7 passed by a vote of 5-0.
All right, thank you so much. Moving on to item number 9, adoption of a resolution authorizing the city manager or designee to destroy records damaged by flooding and mold prior to the completion of the full record retention period. Mr. Vice Mayor?
Yes, obviously I don't think we should be holding on to moldy paperwork, but do we know if these documents have all been digitized?
Vice Mayor, no. There was one that was digitized that was, since we have in the system, we did not consider as part of the destruction list. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
No. The answer
none of them were just digitized?
No.
Okay. Maybe this is sort of a lesson to go through. I know there's probably, scores of boxes down in the basement, but and certainly be time-consuming, tedious, expensive. But we might want to do that. At least those that we think are relevant to retain for many, many years.
Understood, Vice Mayor.
Yeah.
Actually, that's something that we do want to do, especially we want to make sure that any permanent records are scanned or part of our records for the future. I do want to note that for a long time, we did not update our retention schedule, so some of these may, like was considered permanent before that we actually we just updated. So we will make sure that all permanent records are digitized.
Okay, so these are like meeting minutes and resolutions, things like that?
No,
or-
it's kind of like, some of them are kind of before most of our time here. They are considered permanent record because of the notation that they had. Some of them, we didn't have the opportunity to review them yet because that was something we were gonna do. Once we adopted the whole retention schedule back in 2018 and we adopted the system, we were in the process of like, over time, we're gonna digitize some of these records and be able to look through these cases and see what's actually in them. Because the notation on some of these records weren't detailed enough where we know where it was until we grab the actual file. Some of the records, the detail is actually in the box.
Okay, so we really don't know what they are then?
We have an idea of the general
Okay.
notation that we had, yes.
Okay. All right, and then also, making sure that we keep the area waterproof and safe to avoid future issues from happening.
Yeah,
Right.
Mr. If I may, to address the Vice Mayor, so we are moving forward and digitizing records. Planning Department, Building Department, and Engineering are robustly digitizing our records, so we do have those in the future. So that is a work in progress, and we're making great progress on that, actually.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on this item? I don't see any public comment on this. All right, so no public comment on item number 9. Otherwise, I'd like to entertain a motion. All right. Any final comment? We have a motion from the Vice Mayor and also a second from Councilmember Nguyen. Your votes, please.
Item number 9 passed by a vote of 5-0.
Okay, thank you so much. Moving on. We do not have a public hearing tonight. And then moving on to item number 10, existing business, adoption of a resolution awarding a construction contract to United Field Service Corporation for the La Prenta Tank Lining Project in the amount of $394,197 and establishing a project contingency of $59,130 for a total project budget not to exceed $453,327 and authorizing the city manager or designee to execute all contract documents up to the project budget and finding the project exempt from CEQA. Mr. City Manager?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to introduce our city engineer and capital improvement program manager, Mr. Ahmad Haya, for a staff presentation.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. My name is Ahmad Haya. And
Thank you for joining us, Ahmad.
Yes. Can you hear me all right? Okay. Next slide, please. Just want to give you a brief background of the La Prenta tank. It's one of our older tanks. It's almost 50 years old, built in 1978. It's a 500,000 gallon tank that serves pressure zone 1. Pressure zone 1 is the yellow zone on the right on the exhibit. It's all that, it's a large area in the high areas of the city. It was deactivated in November 2023 due to routine inspections. We found there were some issues with water quality, and we investigated it and determined later on that there was some severe corrosion seen in exhibit on the 2 pictures in the bottom. The middle picture is the ceiling of the tank, and the bottom left is the valves that are associated with it. So those are exhibiting the certain existing conditions of the tank site and the infrastructure to it. So right now, pressure zone 1 is served by Skyline Tank solely. And Skyline Tank is shown on the exhibit on the bottom right towards the left. It's a 1.5 million gallon tank that serves basically the whole city. And it's the only tank that serves zone 1 right now. So next slide, please. Due to the assessment, the city staff had issued an RFP, and we determined Wilsley Howe was the most qualified consultant to do a design of the new tank, as well as obtain grant funding. They determined a 660,000 gallon tank would be appropriate to replace it. It would not be steel, it would be concrete. And the new tank would be upgraded for seismic and modern safety concerns, so built to current standards. Right now, Wilsingham is currently under design, and they're looking for grants. And the project timeline is based on grant cycles and project funding. Slide, please. Currently, as I mentioned earlier, Skyline Tank provides the storage for that pressure zone 1. It's adequate for most day-to-day usage, but it was determined during this analysis that under certain conditions, on high circumstances, it's insufficient. And so it was recommended that a PRV would be installed. A PRV is a pressure regulating or pressure reducing valve. It's shown on the exhibit on the blue on the bottom. That's just a sample one. That's not the actual one, but it just shows you that this key infrastructure is needed. It was intended to initially be just a temporary during construction, but it was pulled out of this project based on these findings and determined to be designed and advertised on its own. And last month, we awarded a contract to Golden Bay Construction to build this PRV, this valve, under Hillcrest. And it's shown on the exhibit on the right, just right off of the Chevron gas station. On there. That's the location of this permanent valve. It will be beneficial for the interim while the new tank is being built, as well as in the future after the tank is built. Next slide, please. As design was occurring, we found out that there was an additional grant that was available. It's a HNGB grant, a hazard mitigation grant, due to the wildfires in LA. So that was just issued recently. And it was determined that we need to have an operational tank to be eligible. And so our consultants advised us that it's cost effective to repair this existing facility for the interim condition. And one of the solutions was to line it. And that would provide about 5 to 10 years of service. We designed this project and we advertised it, and we received 2 bids on May 22nd. United Field Service Corporation was the lowest responsible and responsive bid at $394,000. Next slide. We give a big overview in terms of our CIP programming and strategy. All these 3 projects are under one item in the CIP program. It's under La Prenda, but the tank lining is the interim, most immediate, cost-effective solution for the interim. It will provide us a bridge project for 5 to 10 years while we obtain additional funding. The Hillcrest PRV project will address pressure concerns for the interim and long-term. Overall, we're still pursuing the larger tank, which will be a full tank replacement, larger, upgraded, and seismically safe, and we could potentially be eligible for grant funding for up to $3 million, and with a 25% local match. So it's a $3 million grant that would be eligible, and with a 25% match. We think we have a good shot. Based on our understanding, this grant program was specifically to the wildfires, and so we think we are a good fit for this program. Next slide. So we do believe in proceeding with this tank lining project. It is cost-effective in restoring critical infrastructure most immediately. This project is expected to be done by November of 2025. And it also allows us to be eligible for the grant program that I mentioned earlier, the hazard mitigation grant. Next slide. So staff recommends that we award a construction contract to the Unified Field Service Corporation in the amount of $394,197 and approve a total project budget with contingency of $453,327. And authorize city manager or designee to execute all necessary contract documents up to the project budget. Questions?
Okay, thank you so much. Questions from this council? Anyone? Seeing none, I don't think we have any public comment on this item now, we?
We do not, Mayor.
Okay. My question is, how likely do you see, I heard you said you're very optimistic about the grant funding and it requires a 25% contribution. Is that federal or is it state funding?
It is federal funding. The source of the funds are federal funding. So, but this is under congressional action as a result of the disaster that was declared for the LA wildfires. So this is funding for the state of California. So we feel like we have a good chance with this because the funding is specifically only for the state of California. We're not competing with the other programs with all 50 states. So there's designated funds that is issued for the state. We're working with Cal OES. Last week, they reviewed our initial application or notice of intent to file, and they determined that it was eligible. And they recommend that we go ahead and submit a sub-application in September. So we think we have a good chance. We are now proceeding to further design as well as doing a cost assessment to make sure that the benefits outweigh the cost of the project. And that will determine how competitive we are.
You mentioned in your presentation a moment ago, you expect this lining to last between 5 to 10 years?
That is correct.
Okay. I hope that's enough, at least for 3.5 years, so that we can get through this administration and to ensure that we have a better opportunity to getting funding here in California. That's kind of important for us. But, you know, right now, it's my understanding that this tank is offline.
Correct.
Yeah, and it's vital to have that capacity, I imagine.
Yes. Yes, we benefit right immediately for this, do this project right now.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Mr. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, thank you. So in the event, if we were to not receive the grant, does this do anything to extend the useful life of the tank as is without replacing it? Or not
Yes,
really?
it expects to, yeah, up to 10 years, yes, potentially. We may have to come back and do lining. If we do not get the grant, we will come back to council and see maybe what the other alternatives are available.
Because there's still like a seismic issue, right, with the tank itself that is not relevant to the lining, right?
We would like to upgrade it for seismic. These are vital for life safety. These storage tanks provide storage for fire. When all our pressure and water is off, these tanks provide water to fight fire that may go on in the community. So we do find the benefit of that, having that the key critical infrastructure for the community.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. Any further questions? All right. I'd like to entertain a motion if no further questions. Okay, we've got a motion to approve by Councilmember Rinaldi and a second by Councilmember Nguyen. Final comment? Your votes, please.
Item number 10 passed by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Moving on to new business, item number 11, an adoption of a resolution creating a list of projects for fiscal year 2025 to 26 to be funded in part by Senate Bill 1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Haya will also provide the staff presentation on this item as well.
Okay, all right. Still you, Amar.
Yes. So as part of the City of Millbrae's capital improvement program, we annually assess our roadways and streets for conditions, and we do various projects, including crack sealing, potholing, and patching. We do various surface treatment projects, including micro sealing and chip sealing. There's some grinding and paving projects, and we overlay it with new asphalt concrete. There's also some striping and street paving marking projects. As part of some of these projects, we have to comply with ADA. They triggers building new curb ramps. And so that's one of the key items that's on there, and I'll show you an example of that in the next slide. And also as part of this project, we occasionally have to do additional curb and gutter work, as well as change the sidewalks to work with the ramps. Next slide will show you some example projects that we recently completed. The top left corner is a striping improvement project, and it's a crosswalk with new striping in the center line. So, and then on the surface treatment project, right here, this was a slurry seal, and it's a slurry seal is a type of oil that is laid thinly over the surface of it to protect it and provides a longer life for the project, for the street. On the bottom left, there's an example of a ADA ramp as part of another street roadway project. There's 2 new ramps that were installed with those truncated domes too. And then on the bottom left, there's an example of a recent project that we did with asphalt concrete overlay. They're right now paving the freshly laid asphalt concrete and rolling it into place. Next slide. Design is currently underway for the 2026 road pavement and rehabilitation project. Resurfacing and repair projects are listed. The streets are listed as part of that. On the bottom of the street, there's 13 locations. The location was selected using our pavement management program, which prioritizes streets based on pavement distress, traffic volumes, roadway site conditions, type of use, and location. The engineer's estimate is actually 1.3 million for all of these projects. We move on. Let's go to the next slide. But this is the slight typo on the screen right here. It's supposed to be 1.3 million. Next slide, please. This is a location of all the streets. This is we move periodically and systematically throughout the city this is the next zone, and we've prioritized and identified these locations to use the $1.3 million that's in our CIP program. 13 locations: Evergreen Way, Evergreen Court, Stony Court, Tuolumne Court, El Capitan, Clearfield Drive, Riverton, Vista Grande, Estes Drive, Alpaway, and Alto Loma Street, and Del Centro and Lampranda. Next slide will show an example of the conditions out there right now. Now that's the left side is a street that has no cracking or no surfacing improvements. There's already some deterioration of the roads with alligator cracking. That location is at Riverton Drive. On the right is Vista Grande. At one time there was some crack sealing, but as you can see, the crack sealing has propagated further on, so it's in need of further rehabilitation. Next slide. Currently, there's funding available under the Locals and Streets and Roadways Grant. It was a program that was created as part of the Road and Repair Accountability Act of 2017, also known as Senate Bill 1 or SB 1. It provides funding in the rehabilitation, road maintenance and rehabilitation account using fuel taxes and license fees. Next slide. Currently, under the RRMA account, there's $609,791 for Millbrae. That's designated from Millbrae. And to receive this funding, the city has to adopt a resolution designating the streets that it wants to improve with, provide a time schedule, and a useful life of the improvements. We've been doing this annually for the past 9 years. The grant will supplement the existing $1.3 million that's in the CIP program. So with this additional grant amount, we would be able to save some money and use $700,000 from the rest of the CIP to fund this project. So it's $1.3 million, but the grant is $609,000. Construction scheduled in April 2026 and will be estimated to be completed by the end of summer of 2020. So the fiscal impact, the local safe street and roadway grant will facilitate the road rehabilitation program by providing additional funds for necessary road maintenance in the amount of $609,791. Next slide. So therefore staff recommends that council adopt a resolution approving the list of streets for the fiscal year 2025-26 to be funded as part of SB 1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017, and apply the funding for under the Local Streets and Roadways Program for the 2026 Pavement Maintenance and Rehabilitation Project. Happy to take your questions.
Question from the council? Councilmember Nguyen.
I noticed that Tuolumne Court is on that list, but not Tuolumne Road. I do notice that in Tuolumne Road, there's pretty bad conditions, and depending on how far up the hill you go. Kind of curious what your criteria is for determining, for example, that court versus the rest of the road.
So we use a PCI, something called a Pavement Condition Index. I don't know if you noticed on the slide, there were some PCIs. The lower the score, the worse it is. So we do based on the pavement condition. It's a systemic process. It's methodical, rigid, based on MTC guidelines. So basically regionally we use that methodology. It's engineered, and we determine based on this location, these are the most critical streets that need improvements.
Does that include like visible potholes? Because I can say that at Tuolumne, there's visible potholes that are pretty deep.
Yes, potholes, it would be
Tuolumne
considered.
Court doesn't have as many, so I was curious, are there other criteria besides potholes and cracks that you guys look at?
Yeah, there's a difference in terms of subsurface improvements. There's like structural failures, so you may see surface issue, but they're also subsurface sometimes. So it does require additional improvements. Based on that, it is a complicated thing, but potholes is a criteria, but there's also additional ones, including cracks and subsurface conditions.
Thanks.
Councilmember Rinaldi.
Thanks for the detailed presentation, Ahmad. Quick question for you. Regarding these streets, how many of these streets have infrastructure problems underneath them? Are there going to be any repairs like that with what's being proposed here?
Yeah, so those will be usually more, so if there are major ones, they'll be reconstructed. Those are larger projects. These are more routine rehabilitation projects. We don't go all the way down to the subbase with these, where we take out the full asphalt. You may see that in some places where we mill all the way down to the aggregate base or even the native soils. So we did that last year on Awani Court, but or WANI, but not necessarily for these ones. This one is designating rehabilitation funds and spreading it out as much as we can on a larger area.
Got it. And in regards to these fixes or trying to make the roads last longer with slurry seals and crack fills, pothole fills, how long do those remedies last for on the street? How long does it extend the life of the street for?
So under the pavement management program, there is a designated extended life. It's set in there, so crack seal doesn't extend it that much. You only get like a few years. Slurry seal gives you maybe 5 years more in terms of lifetimes. Whereas if you do like an AC fill, that's 10, 15. Sometimes you do reconstruction up to 20 years. That's the life of an asphalt concrete new roadway. So that's, depending on how much effort you put in, that's the return period is in there. But we're trying to do routine and preventative maintenance so that we don't have to do the major projects, which it becomes more expensive to do those.
Sure. That's it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Vice Mayor?
Okay, thank you. So just to clarify, so the estimated SB1 funding is about 600,000, and then the city's contribution would be about 700,000, totals 1.3.
Yeah, we would go based on the balance. So we're still under design. We haven't bid this, but we estimate it would be about 1.3 at this point.
Okay. And, you know, in case there is any additional funding available, is there maybe like kind of a list of, backup list of like a couple of streets that could be added on?
Yes, that happens. Even in this last month, as you know, we did the 2025 pavement management project that was awarded. That included, I think, Barnaby Lane, Barney Lane, I forget the name now, but Granberry Lane, sorry. So that's underway right now. It's going to be under construction starting next week, actually, so, or next month in July. So it's starting relatively soon. We do this for the summer. That's the best time for paving. But yeah, so annually we do that, and we added multiple additional streets based on additional assessments, proximity to other ways, and getting more bang for the buck. If there's a street in the middle, we might as well do a quick slurry. We'll try to add that on there.
Got it. And what's the approximate citywide PCI score?
That's actually definitive. Its PCI score for this year is 50. So it's
50, okay.
Yeah, it was 52 and it's going down. So even if you do based on the existing budget, it may continue going down. There's a much larger need.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in because the way the PCI is graded, we're going to get into it because there's no way that we should be down to all of the paving, new development, and things that we've done. Our PCI should be higher, not lower. So we're going to address that with MTC because I think that there's some methodology issues there that I have taken exception with. Because if you look at our roads 5 years ago versus today, there is major improvement. So that may be what some intern at MTC driving around in a car believes, but we're gonna protest that.
Okay. Well, let's talk to them and.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always room for improvement, right? So,
Well,
yeah.
Our roads definitely need attention, and as we gain more revenue, right, and make it a priority, but yeah, that PCI index something seems a little off there.
Okay.
And I say that because, yeah, of course, Vice Mayor, as we said, but it can't be that low.
Okay. All right.
In my opinion.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Councilmember Riley.
Thank you so much for your presentation and work so hard to keep our city's street safe and beautiful. Thank you.
Very well. Anyone else? I don't think we have any public comment on this item.
There are no public comments on this item, Mayor.
Okay, bring it back to the council. Any final questions, comments? Go ahead, Councilmember Rinaldi.
Regarding the grant funding for this, the $600,000, when is that grant going to be awarded?
So we actually need to pass the resolution by the end of this month and provide it to the state by the beginning of July 1st. So we actually need to pass this resolution so that we can be eligible to obtain the grant funds for next year. Yeah, it's basically you qualify to get reimbursed for that fund.
Got it. And how competitive is this grant? Fairly competitive?
These funds are actually designated for Millbrae. So this is gas tax and
Vehicle license plate?
yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. If no further comment, I'd like to take a motion and keep moving this. Okay, thank you for the motion, Councilmember Rinaldi, and second from Councilmember Nguyen. Your votes, please.
Item number 11 passed by a vote 5-0.
Very well, let's pave some roads. All right, thank you. Item 12, consideration of a recommendation from the Council Appointment Ad Hoc Subcommittee to members' appointment and reappointment to, let's start with Sister City Commission, Community Enhancement Advisory Committee, Economic Development Advisory Committee, and Senior Advisory Committee.
Mr. Mayor, and our city clerk, Ms. Elaine Tran, will provide the briefing and presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Before you this evening is the consideration of appointment and reappointment recommendation from the Council, Commission, and Committee Appointment Ad Hoc Subcommittee consisting of Mayor Fung and Councilmember Riley. As part of the city's annual commission and committee recruitment process, the subcommittee reviewed application, interviewed interest candidates, and is now providing recommendation to the City Council consideration. If the council approved the subcommittee's recommendation, the updated membership and remaining vacancy are as follows. Sister Cities Commission, reappointment of Sammy Yim, new appointment of Umid Kapanogu with the remaining vacancy of 1 member. Citizens Oversight Committee, current vacancy is of 7 members, 1 from each council district and 2 at-large seats. Community Enhancement Advisory Committee, reappointment of Jean Wong and Ken Smith. With that, there will be 2 members and 1 alternate remaining vacancies. Cultural Arts Advisory Committee, reappointment of Nicole Germain with 2 members and 1 alternate remaining vacancies. Economic Development Advisory Committee, reappointment of Oliver McComb, and the alternate member applied to be a full member, Sung Ho Yang, and the new appointment of Vijay Patel and also Patrick King. With that, there will be 1 alternate vacancy remaining. And for Senior Advisory Committee, the reappointment of Mimi Lin, Patrick Chang, and Vanita Ghosh. With that, there will be 1 alternate remaining vacancy. So the recruitment remains ongoing for all vacant positions. Application for city commission and committees are accepted year-round and retained on file for 1 year from the date of submission. And this is the subcommittee's recommendation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so, can you bring back 1 slide, sorry.
Go back 1.
Thank you. All right, so we'll start with the Sister City, the Community Enhancement Advisory Committee, and Cultural Art and the Economic Development Advisory Committee. First of all, I just wanted to thank all those who are returning to our committees and commissions. You know, City of Millbrae is always blessed with all our volunteers who want to serve on these wonderful committees and advising the council on policy decisions that would enhance the community. So we're very thankful for all the returning ones, as well as the one who stand up and wanted to volunteer. Anyone else have any comments on the first 4 recommendations? Any public comment? I don't see any hand raised or speaker slips tonight. We're pretty quiet this evening.
That's correct, Mayor.
Okay, very well. Otherwise, love to, Mr. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, 1 question. I believe there was also, we were also recruiting for the advisory committee for the bond oversight, or the oversight committee.
Yeah, the Citizens Oversight Committee, we've got 2 applicants.
There was 2 applications received.
Yeah, but you know, it is a 7-member committee and it needs 4 in order to be even having a quorum to conduct the meeting. So the staff, what we recommend to staff is to continue the recruitment process and lengthen the process a little bit until we at least get quorum, so that we can at least get quorum, so that the committee can get started with meetings. And that's the recommendation from the subcommittee.
Thank you.
Yep. Anyone else? Okay, otherwise I would love to entertain a motion for Sister City, Community Enhancement, Cultural Art, and Economic Development Advisory Committee, and a Senior Advisory Committee. Okay, a motion from the Vice Mayor and also a second from Councilmember Nguyen. Your votes, please.
The motion to appoint and reappoint members to the Sister Cities Commission, Community Enhancement Advisory Committee, Economic Development Advisory Committee, and Senior Advisory Committee as recommended passed by a vote 5-0.
Okay, thank you, City Clerk. So next up is the Youth Advisory Committee, which I shall recuse from the appointment process because it does involve a family member of my own. And then I'll leave it in the good hand of the Vice Mayor.
Okay. So, yeah, we have the list in front of us for the Youth Advisory Committee, the recommended applicants. First of all, there are 4 reappointments: Caitlin Chun, Madison David Douglas, Shrey Parikh, and Anderson Fung. And then 5 new appointments: Liam Chen, Connor Lai, Eric Chung, Hugo Sheck, and Evan Chen, with 1 remaining vacancy. Any comments from the council or questions? Oh, yes.
So Councilmember Riley and myself interviewed 16 people.
Oh, wow.
And this was the final list of those 16 people. What stood out was the amount of, I guess, effort and energy they put into volunteering, which I felt was very impressive. And even more impressive was how they interviewed. I asked questions like, what are issues in Millbrae that you find important, and how would you address it? And they gave pretty impressive ones. For example, they even addressed like traffic. They went into those level of details, even when I wasn't specifically asking for it. So this list was, at least when I voted for the people, incorporated just their overall understanding of city level issues and their problem solving skills, as well as how they communicated just in a big public forum. So this is at least the distilled list. I believe, Councilman, you can comment as well, but that was my decision behind voting in these people.
We interviewed a total of the 18 from Monday to Tuesday. Then we selected those. They will present themselves, and their volunteer was impressive, and they care about youth community. So therefore, we voted for those. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilmembers Riley and Councilmember Nguyen. Yeah, going through 18 interviews, that sounds like an exhausting process, but so thank you for putting in the time to do that, and thank you to everyone who applied and who interviewed. And then just one sort of clarification, actually, Evan Chen would be recommended as an alternate member. So there are, I believe, 6, 7, 8 members appointed and 1 alternate member, with 1 vacancy remaining for a middle school member. Okay, with that, is there a motion from the council? Okay, we have a motion from Councilmember Nguyen and a second from Councilmember Rinaldi. Your votes, please.
The City Council appoint and reappoint members to the Youth Advisory Committee as recommended by a vote of 4-0-1, with Mayor Fung recused.
Okay, thank you very much. And you heard us?
Thank you very much. And I believe that actually wraps up all the agenda items this evening. Moving on to council comment. Who would like to get started? Councilmember Nguyen.
Just one topic. Waymo has expanded coverage to Millbrae. It's not, I think, as numerous as, say, San Francisco and Daly City, but I did mention earlier possibilities of potentially partnering with them so that we can address transportation specifically around seniors. Seniors have approached me about bringing back a shuttle, which I think is pretty expensive in terms of getting the labor hiring as well as maintaining a fleet or maybe even 1 shuttle. So Waymo is a good stopgap or even a long-term solution for that. It's great to see that they are able to cover Millbrae, and maybe what we can investigate going forward is a partnership with Waymo. That's all I have. Thanks.
Okay, anyone else? Councilmember Rinaldi.
Yes, just wanted to thank all the CERT members that came out last week for the Stop the Bleed course. We did a certification course for folks from the public. People from Hillsborough, Burlingame joined us. And if you had attended, you could have seen us help stop the bleed from a pork tenderloin. So we had fake blood in the pork tenderloin, and we had to put gauze on it to make it stop bleeding. And one important thing that we walked away with is, instead of fake blood, next time we're going to use soy sauce so we can marinate and then barbecue the pork tenderloin afterwards. Other than that, that's it for tonight.
Okay, all right, very well. Anyone else? Mr. Vice Mayor?
Yes, let's see, I attended the Library Joint Powers Authority Governing Board meeting. We discussed and approved the budget for the upcoming year at that meeting. And then I also attended the Sister Cities Commission meeting yesterday. There were some discussions about, a few months ago, we had discussed a potential friendship city with Taichung, Taiwan, and I think there was some interest in getting that moving along. I think there was also interest in maybe setting up a meeting, maybe like a Zoom meeting with the mayor and representatives from Taichung to help begin discussions with that, for that potential friendship city. Also, there's going to be a group from Ramallah that will be visiting a convention actually in Burlingame. I believe they have some events scheduled with our mayor and the mayor from Ramallah and other mayors from around San Mateo County that will be attending. We're hoping to have some type of event for the mayor of Ramallah to come to Millbrae, maybe see the olive tree that was planted simultaneously in Millbrae, Mosta, and Ramallah all at the same time. So hopefully we can get something scheduled. That's right around, I think they were looking at potentially July 3rd for that date, but hasn't been set yet. And also potentially ways to rekindle the sister city relationship we have with La Serena, Chile. There's someone in the community, I think he lives in Belmont, but he's been attending the Sister City Commission meetings here in Millbrae. He's Chilean and he has contacts there and has been trying to get some communication started, and they're sort of brainstorming some ideas of some type of potentially, virtual events or something that we could do to connect with La Serena as well. So hopefully there will be more to come on that at the next meeting. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the update. Anyone else? Councilmember Riley.
I went to the Chick-fil-A grand opening last week. It was great because it created a job for our community, for 90 jobs created. So I encourage all of you, bring your family and friends, go eat more chicken. Thank you.
Okay. It's always good to focus on our economic development, and as more and more businesses are opening up here in Millbrae. So that's wonderful to see. A little bit of update on the BART station updates. The BART fare gate, as we discussed last time, the Transportation Authority has funded the entire $10.3 million required in order for BART to install fare gates throughout the entire San Mateo County, all 5 stations of it. And I believe it beginning on June 16, that's some of the fare gate has been delivered and begun the construction of installing the fare gates. It's my understanding that they are going to require about 2 to 3 weeks' time for the installation to happen. So hopefully we're getting done as soon as possible. That would certainly help, public safety and ensuring that protect the integrity of the entire BART system. And ensuring that no more fare gate jumping. So that's exciting news. As far as the regional measure go, SB 63, the discussion is intensifying. More and more discussions are coming up. I think the decision will need to be made sometime around August 3rd, August 4th, right around that time. So more discussion scheduled ahead for the Transportation Authority and also SamTran, which will be the final decision-making body on behalf of the county. There has been polling being done, and we're all eager and waiting for the result of the polling to see where we stand as a county and what's the voters' appetite in terms of a sales tax measure to help fund these revenue shortfall from these transit agencies. So more to come on that in the next month or so. And that would be it for my update for now. And I believe we have a closed session coming up. And anyone who wish to address the City Council on subject matter for the closed session agenda. Please provide public comment at this time before the council goes into the closed session. I don't have any speaker slip. I don't have any hand raised. City Clerk?
That's correct, Mayor. There's no hands raised on this item.
Okay, so this meeting will now go into closed session in the city manager's office. City Attorney, I suppose we have to come back after that to adjourn the meeting, correct?
That's correct. On the agenda, adjournment is after the closed session.
Okay, all right. So we will now move into a closed session. We'll be right back after we're finished. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. We just came back from a very useful closed session discussion, very robust discussion. But there's no reportable action, correct, City Attorney?
That's correct.
Okay, so with that said, I adjourn this meeting tonight at 9:48 p.m. Thank you all.